Hello everyone, welcome to your 11th QB64 tutorial, and in this tutorial we'll be talking about the for loop, which will be the last loop that we'll be talking about in the QB64 tutorials. Now, first of all, we'll proceed to declare x as integer, and x will be our counter for the for loop, and you'll learn what that is later. When I say later, I mean in about a couple seconds. So, we'll start our for loop. For, of course, x equals 1 to 10. And what this does is it's going to take x, and every time it loops, x is going to increase. And it's going to increase for 10 times because 1 to 10. Here, I'll show you. It's kind of hard to explain, I apologize. I'm just going to go ahead and print x, and you always end for loops with next and whatever variable you're using, next x. So I'm going to go ahead and explain this. For x equals 1 to 10, x equals 1, it's going to print what x is. Next x is what brings x back to the beginning. So for x, now x equals 2. So for x equals 1 to 10, print x. Now that x equals 2, it's going to print 2. Next x now equals 3. For x equals 1 to 10, print x, which now equals 3. And it's just going to keep going on and on and on until x finally equals 10, and then it's going to stop. And don't believe me, I'm just going to go ahead and run the program. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I realize that this is kind of hard to explain, this is kind of hard to conceive, but here, just bear with me here. I'm just going to go ahead and teach this again. For x equals 1 to 10. First of all, x originally starts out as 0, but then when it enters the for loop, x equals 1. See right here in the beginning, x equals 1. If I can highlight it, there we go. So remember that. And it's going to keep going, you know, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and when it reaches 10, then it's going to stop. And we can manipulate the second variable, 300. I'm just going to go 30 since I don't want to crash the system. Okay, we're going to go ahead and run our program. And there's not enough space to fit all the numbers onto the screen. However, you can see that it keeps on adding 1 until you eventually get to 30. Alright, now I'm going to try to explain this the best I can, really. So again, for x equals 1 to 30, it's going to print x 30 times because that is our for x equals 1 to 30 syntax. And keep in mind, you can manipulate this anytime you want. You can actually manipulate the first variable, say 20, if we run our program. It will go from 20 to 30. And so hopefully this will help you understand what's actually taking place. Now keep in mind that I'm going to go ahead and switch everything back to what it was. You can create lots of different things with for loops. Here I'm going to go ahead and show you. And so instead of printing x, we're just going to go ahead and print, let's think of something good. I eat at Taco Bell, and hate one. No, let's do something different. How about Josh if I can type today, gosh, Hutcherson. Alright, and so if we run our program, it prints I eat at Taco Bell and hate Josh Hutcherson 10 times because that is the for loop syntax. Alright, and I recommend that you play around with this, and for loops in my opinion are very interesting. I use for loops a lot, and I think that they're just more convenient and easier to use than while loops for certain situations, such as printing a line of text over and over again. But I recommend that you play around with this. And just a recap, x equals 1 to 10, x will keep equaling different variables from 1 to 10. X equals 1, x equals 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, and that's when the loop will stop. And this is bear with me. I know I'm stuttering a lot in this episode. For loops are kind of difficult to explain, and just keep practicing with them, and I promise you'll become a pro at for loops. And before I end off this video, I'm going to show you some cool things that can be done with for loops. I know I didn't teach you this already, but I'm just going to go ahead and type circle x, 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 x. And I know I didn't teach you that, but this is just something that I'm going to give you to show you how cool for loops are. Oh, one last thing. Screen 13. If you're going to copy this code, be sure to write screen 13. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and change this to, let's do 500. And so if we run our program, awesome, huh? And so that's one of the cool things that you can do with for loops. I know I have not taught you this already. I know I repeated that multiple times, but I apologize. I just wanted to show you some of the cool things that can be done. Keep in mind that the circle and the screen 13 we'll be learning in future tutorials. If you want to copy this code, I'll probably have it in the description somewhere, because it actually is a pretty cool program. And so I'm going to go ahead and clear all this, and I hope this tutorial was helpful to you in any capacity. For loops are awesome, in my opinion, and I really recommend that you learn this stuff, especially for loops, because they're very useful. And so, if this tutorial helped you, please click like, and be sure to subscribe, tell your friends, send me $1 million, and this concludes this tutorial. My name's Zachary, and I bid you farewell.